I was gonna get water, but I'll just wait.
Huh?
I'm here.
Where's the fruit? Here's her fruit.
It's my finger name. You want star fruit?
You want to start fruit? You gotta eat your fruit first.
You need your water too, right?
Eat your fruit first.
This?
Fruit. Nope. She's getting it right now.
What did you do with your burger thing? Where? Daddy.
Yeah, get a large cup.
This is 30.
Come on.
Sorry.
Wow.
Yeah, that's for supper. I got it.
It's him. And that's my one.
Ooh, you guys ready?
Is your finger? What's your finger?
You gotta get it quiet with that.
Make it. This is a really good one. Hello. Hello. Wait, I don't do it anymore. You do. Hello. What's your name? Well, you probably see my face. My knees up here. Your face is okay. Alright. You can't find it. I gave it to you and then you look at some.
It's good.
You want to get I know Daddy showed me that. You didn't say that. Oh, you don't do that. No, you don't have to just put it in.
I'll find some things that's good. Moving all around and stuff.
You guys feel some circulation a little bit?
No.
Yeah, the protein, your favorite is
How much time we got? 2 more minutes. 32. 3 more minutes.
12:32.
All right. Cool. Get a little bit of time for you to get out. Where are you going? The purple thing?
You're trying to find the.
Oh, you're okay. No, I got it ready. Shalom, everyone. Shalom, the ones that are on. Appreciate you. In about 2 more minutes for everyone to get on. You sent the shout out for it. Yes, you did.
Yeah.
That's how much for you. That's how much for you.
Okay, we'll find it later. You gotta go sit down. Eat your fruit first.
You don't want your family.
Oh, no, that's for you. Not me.
Well, let me give you the names for us to start. I don't want to assume that we.
All the people watching, you be doing Ephesians.
Yes, we go. Ariel, you need to write.
Shalom, you there?
I jumped more having your
Pretty good. I am here. Yeah, we're about to start. So I'll put you down so that way you can hear. catch the Bible?
Yes,
Go.
Ephesians. After search, yeah.
Say for me.
Yeah, after we eat lunch, we get popcorn.
Yeah, EP. Hey, Ariel takes Ozzy P, please. That drops Ozzy. You get a point. No. What happened to this cat baby?
I think I brought it.
So my next.
Yeah.
Come on, honey.
All right. One more minute. Ooh.
It's fine. It's not on. That's how I usually drop my fumbles.
You want to switch that out? That one for the regular. Just that opportunity is still there.
You understand that?
All right, welcome. It is time. What's up? Where are you guys?
I was gonna ask you if we have to eat our cornbread.
Yeah, eat your food first. So,
That's this one.
all right. As you know, our children don't like eating their fruit. They get full, they'll eat their carbs, mac and cheese, chicken. Then when it's time for their fruit, all of a sudden, or vegetables, all of a sudden they're full. So now, eat your fruit first. All right, so let's get it. Welcome to True Hebrews United of the Almighty Yeshua, the Spirit of holiness, instructed discipleship drill. So I'm about to get into the book as you. Definitely give all honor to the Almighty King of Kings, Lord of Lords, the Creator of heaven and earth, and all that is in therein. He governs our heart rate, our immune system, everything. Make sure we have our cholesterol in check, all that stuff. Dealing with health, He gives health to us and life to us. We just acknowledge Him that without Him we can do nothing. We acknowledge the Father through the Son, Yeshua Mashiach, the only begotten. I definitely thank the Almighty for Him. So, also double honor to the apostles, the prophets, the evangelists, the teachers, the elders, the bishops, the deacons across the whole planet. Keeping this word, persuading people to repent from their sin and come to this gospel for its everlasting today. Definitely shout out to the brothers and sisters across the whole world. Keep the Almighty's commandments, statutes, judgments, precepts, and ways. All the people on Facebook and YouTube that share, like, and subscribe. The Lord willing, this upcoming next Hebrew year coming up, hopefully things line up how we want. And we'll be on the Patreon, the Big Shew, Bumble, whatever. OnlyFans, I don't care. Anything to go out and seek souls. We'll go out and seek souls. So, definitely thank all you people that support, like, share, subscribe to the videos. So, can you give me a paper towel? I appreciate it. So, with all that said being done, let's let the fingers do the walking and
The scriptures do the talking.
Oh, sorry, I was putting this pacifier in his mouth. I was distracted. I'm sorry. And the scriptures do the talking. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo.
I'm gonna get some clappers to where you guys do it, and then we'll have little blowhorns, and then we'll do it like that. All right. So give me Ephesians chapter 5. I'm gonna deal with this. It's mainly dealing with the children, our kids growing up. It will deal with the adults as well. We kind of touched on it in a different aspect a couple of maybe 4 or 6 weeks ago. So we're not going to deal in detail on a couple of topics, but definitely going to hit home. And let's get it. Ephesians chapter 5.
Excuse me, sorry.
Ephesians chapter 5. All right, we're starting. You hear me? All right, cool. Ephesians chapter 5. Go ahead, Kamari, and get paper towels for all three of you guys, so you don't have greasy hands on your Bibles, wet Bibles, all that stuff. Ephesians chapter 5, starting at verse 1. All right. Put them to sleep. Come back out. Let's get it. Be ye therefore followers of the Almighty as dear children, and walk in love, even as Christ has loved us, and has given himself for us an example, an offering of a sacrifice to the Most High for a sweet smelling Savior. But fornication and all uncleanness or covetousness, let it not be once named among you as becoming saints. Not even one time. Some dude posted, hey, if the women that are in truth, um, they should be waiting to marriage. That's not waiting to marriage. They need to come up higher. If they're not waiting to marriage to be intimate, they're not in truth. I don't care how much they say that they believe. To the Most High, I'm a child, I'm born again. If you're living in fornication, you ain't in truth. You ain't in nothing. You're just playing around. Let's keep going. But fornication and all uncleanness or covetousness, let it not be once named among you as becoming saints. Neither, where's Kamari at? Kamari, just bring the paper towels out here. Let's go, let's go. Hurry up. All right, cool. We're at verse 4. Neither foolish filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient. So I want to deal with foolish talking. We'll deal with jesting. Jesting is when you tell jokes or when you clown or roast each other. Now, when you have friends or whatnot, and we joke around with each other, that's the difference. The jesting he's talking about is when you're trying to disgrace someone's character, when you're trying to belittle someone, cause low self-esteem, have them to be less esteemed in front of their peers. When you make fun of people and now all the other people look at that person lower because you keep making fun of them, so other people don't value that person. That's called jesting, when you make fun of a person that discredit someone's character. But it says, our foolish talking. There's just some things we should and should not be saying. So let's keep going. It says, which is not convenient. For this you know that no whoremonger, nor unclean person, nor covetous who is an idolater have any inheritance in the kingdom of Amashiach and of the Most High. So it says they won't have any inheritance in these things. But let's keep going. Proverbs. I'm just scratching the surface. We dealt with this a couple of whiles ago, but I'm going to deal with the different aspects. Proverbs chapter 20. It is warm today. Shout out to the Zooms. I appreciate the Zooms. Brother Vince, Sister Gia King. Praise the Almighty. Good fellowship with the people on the Zooms. I don't know if they want me to put them on blast, but it's good fellowship with all the Proverbs chapter 20, verse 19. Let's get it. He that goeth about as a talebearer revealeth secrets, therefore meddle not with him that flattereth with his lips. So causing gossip. Hey, don't tell him I told you, but this is what happened. We dealt with that a while ago, especially because people was lying on my name a couple of weeks ago, so I had to deal with it. But praise the Almighty. That's one thing how you can be condemned with your mouthpiece. Let's keep going, and then we'll get to the next topic. Proverbs chapter 6. Proverbs chapter 6, verse 16. These 6 things doth the Almighty hate, yea, 7 are abomination. A proud look, especially pride. The Almighty he wants you to come before him humble. A lying tongue. That tongue will send you to the lake of fire when you tell lies. A hands that shed innocent blood. A heart that devises wicked imagination. Feet that be swift into running into mischief. A false witness that speaketh lies. Once again, that tongue. And he that sold discord of brethren, usually gossip, and being a talebearer will do that, will cause division. So the Almighty hates these things. Now let's keep going. Give me Titus chapter 2. For all the people that's on now, I already dealt with that a couple of services ago. If you have to look up the YouTube and go back maybe 6 weeks ago or whatnot, I dealt with that. There's some people speaking on me falsely and causing division among the brethren. Have yet to apologize. Probably will not apologize because they're quick to call me a talebearer, but they're not quick to apologize and say, hey, I took your words out of context. I probably shouldn't have did that, and I caused division between you and another person. So Titus chapter 2, verse 1. Let's get it. Therefore, my son, be strong in the grace. Oh, I was on Timothy. Sorry about that. Titus chapter 2, verse 1.
Yeah.
But speak those things which becometh sound doctrine. We need to speak those things that be in truth. that the aged man may be sober, grave, temperament, sound in faith, in charity, and patience. And these are the qualifications of people that's been serving the Almighty. And it does deal with age, but I understand that it's also maturity, because you can get someone that repents from their sin when they're 34 or 36 years old and comes to the gospel. And yeah, they might have some level of maturity in the world, but their maturity in spiritual things, they're a novice. So you have someone that's been serving the Almighty from 20 years, and then by the time they're 27, 28, they're grounded and settled in the Word. I came out roughly around 21, 22. So let's keep going. That the aged woman likewise, that they be good behavior, becoming holiness, not false accusers, dealing with the mouth again, nor given into much wine, teachers of good things, that they may teach the young one, not the word, to teach the young woman to be sober, love their husbands, love their children, to be discreet, chaste, keepers at home, good, obedient to their own husband, that the word of the Almighty be not blasphemed. And this is what catches a lot of women up, because it says, let the aged woman teach the younger woman. It didn't say teach the younger woman Bible prophecy. It didn't say teach the younger woman how to keep the Sabbath. It didn't say any to teach them the commandments of the Most High. It told specifically what the aged women are supposed to teach the younger women. And too many women take this scripture and they run way too far and teach things they should not be teaching. They don't need you to teach Bible prophecy if they have a minister that can teach Bible prophecy. So be careful with these women that's quick to teach and take the office that the Almighty didn't give them. So let's keep going. Verse 7, in all things shewing thyself a pattern of good works and doctrine, shewing up corruption. Check this out, verse 8. Having a sound speech that cannot be condemned, that he that is on the contrary part may be ashamed, having no evil things to say against you. And this is what I want to deal with the children, because especially when they're in high school, when they're in middle school, and we, depending on your life situations, you might have to send your children to a public school, and they got hellish children. Their parents are sinners, so by default, they're sinner kids. They're the offspring of sinner kids. And so what their parents allow in the school, allow in their home, TV shows with cussing, and they cuss, and they saying all this stuff, and these kids will come up and have a dirty mouth. And you know how kids are. They want to be a grown-up so quick that they shoot out profanity more than adults. Adults may use profanity one every other sentence when they're talking or trying to put emphasis. But these adults, they cuss all the time and feel like they're grown or they're cool and whatnot. And I understand, hey, you paying attention? Is this for you? This is for you too, Ariel. Because you guys got to deal with this in school. You're going to deal with kids that's going to be cussing and saying stuff like that, and you don't let that rub off on you. A lot of these kids are sinner children. They come from sinner parents. Their parents do not teach them the word of the Most High. And there's nothing wrong with the children because they have not got taught the wrong way, but they're picking up habits from adults and they're taking it to school, and I don't need you guys picking that stuff up. So I need you guys to be paying attention to the service. You understand it? And all the people on online as well. So, peer pressure. We need to start teaching our kids that, hey, you're going to go to these places, you're going to see things, but do not pick up their habits. This is why he had Israel. He says, when you go into this land, it says, I want you to destroy these people. When you see their gods, destroy their gods. Do not take wives for your son and do not give your daughters to them, because they're going to corrupt you and get you to serve idol gods. It says, don't take up their customs, for the customs are the people are vain. For they pick up a tree out of the forest, the workmen of workmen's hands, they deck it with silver and gold. And you see to this day people rocking the Christmas tree. These people that say they believe in the Bible rocking the Christmas tree. Israel picked up customs that was not meant for them, and they got destroyed. And sometimes we sin. Not every place on the planet you can homeschool and or have the ability to homeschool, or there's a school for children in truth in every city and every location. So you might have to send your children to public schools, but the same, treat these public schools like you're going into a land that's not yours. Math is legit. English, or reading and writing. History somewhat is legit because they be lying in history. But math, reading and writing, grammar, all that stuff, pick up that stuff. But what these kids do, don't pick up their habits are vain. This is why when the Almighty destroyed the earth by water, Kamari and Ariel, who did he save? How many people did he save? Go ahead.
You said I think it was Noah.
How many people? 8. 8 people, exactly. So everyone else in the world was destroyed, right? And so were those children destroyed too? Hey, sinner parents, sinner kids. When the Almighty comes back and destroy this world by fire, these same sinner children are going to get destroyed as well. So I don't need you or any people that's watching this service to have your kids pick up these hellish children's straight habits, like cussing. We don't need none of that stuff. I don't need you coming saying all that stuff, because once you guys slip up in the house, I know you're doing it in school. And same thing, hopefully, this is for my children as well as anyone else out there that children. Hey, we're just like Israel came into the land and he says, do not pick up their customs, do not pick up their ways. We need to have talks with our children and say, hey, you're going into this school, learn what you need to learn and spit out what you need to spit out. Treat it like sunflower seeds. There's some meat in that school that you pick up when the teachers teach certain things, but that foolishness, if they're teaching you Thanksgiving, which we pull our kids out when they do that stuff, Valentine's Day and Christmas, we just take our kids don't go and participate and have to watch the kids. We just pull them out for that week or whatnot. We don't even let our kids entertain that stuff. But don't pick up their ways. When they try to make pictures of angels and all that stuff, when their kids are cussing and doing bad stuff, you don't pick up their ways. I do construction, they cuss all the time. And you never see me slip up to cuss. I don't pick up these sinner ways. I'm not of this world. My kingdom is not in this world. I'm waiting for new heaven, new earth, and new Jerusalem. And we got to teach our children that as well. So let's keep going. Give me 1 Corinthians chapter 13. First Corinthians chapter 13, we're going to start at verse 3. It says, and though I bestow all my goods to feed the poor, and though I give my body to be burned and have not charity, it profit me nothing. Charity suffereth long and is kind. Charity envieth not. Charity vaunteth not itself. It is not puffed up. Doth not behave itself unseemly. Speaketh not her own. Is not easily provoked. Thinketh no evil. Rejoiceth not in iniquity, but rejoiceth in truth. Beareth all things. Believeth all things. Hopeth all things. Endureth all things. If it's in the book, I'm sure of all things. I just said that. I always like saying that. But my main point is verse 6. Rejoiceth not in iniquity, but rejoiceth in truth. And this is what tears down a lot of people that believe are trying to serve the Most High, because they allow movies with cussing in it, movies with men dressing like women. You allow things in your home through music, through movies, through cartoons, through all this stuff. You should not let that stuff in your home. The saints should not be watching stuff with cussing in it. Now imagine, why would we take something that belongs to the wicked one? Like, let's say if they were selling Ouija boards and witchcraft items so you can practice witchcraft, we naturally wouldn't purchase those items. So when there's movies made by sinners and they decide to put profanity on it and you go ahead and watch it, that doesn't belong to you. You will notice there is so little that the saints of the Almighty can actually watch. It just gives you more time to grow in the spirit, because most things have cussing. Even the commentaries and whatnot, most things have profanity in it. Just leave it alone. That stuff will get into your soul or get into your kids' souls, and you will want to put your children on punishment or give them a spanking because your children are using profanity and you allow it in your home. How can you condemn your kids for something you allow in your home? This is why when my kids slip up, I know that they got it from school. Now, can you guys say that? Can most parents say, hey, my kid is starting to do this behavior and they got it from school? Most people that even say that they believe, no, they got it from their home. They seen how you talk. They seen what you watch. They seen what you do, and they picked that up from the parents and took it to school. That's what happens. And there's an argument with TV. There's a Greek, it's a broad brush. And I'm using this against, to some degree, what I teach. It's not watching stuff with cussing. Because you could argue, well, there's sin in everything. Because we don't watch Medea, or we don't watch where women dress, shows where women dress like men, or men dress like women, and like Martin Lawrence or Medina, or these TV shows for dresser, because that's an abomination. It says a man should not put on a woman's garment, neither should a woman put on things that pertain to a man, because that is abomination. So why would we watch that TV show that emphasizes on the abomination? And you can argue it, but you can say, but almost every TV show we watch have women with makeup, and that's also against the word. Every TV show we have women wearing pants, that's also against the word. So where do you draw the line? And so I'm going to help you because it is a broad brush. Because we could watch the news, and when you watch the weather, there's a woman wearing pants or revealing skirt or showing their boobs and being unmodest, which is simple, and wearing makeup, which is simple. But we are coming to watch the news to know what the weather is, or watch the news to what's going on. That is what I'm coming here for. When you watch a movie or a TV show, you're taking the whole package. If I watch a documentary, and in this documentary, they are interviewing people, and some of the people they interview use profanity, I'm trying to learn what happened in history, and they are just interviewing people. I'm coming there for the history. Now, when you watch a movie or a TV show, and there's a woman dressing like a man or vice versa and whatnot, that's what you're coming to watch. You got to take the whole role. That's the difference. And no, I'm not saying, okay, we can watch stuff with cussing it as long as that. No, I'm not condoning that by any means. But there is a broad brush to where do we draw the line of what's appropriate and what's not appropriate, because technically there's sin in everything we watch. There's always going to be someone with makeup or wearing pants. No, I'm not going to have my kids watch where two girls are kissing. That's an abomination. Abominations out the gate is not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? But we see that we just don't participate in those abominable things. If it's cussing, nudity, profanity, all that stuff, we leave that stuff alone. If you need to watch the news and see what weather it is, and there's some girl trying to tell you what the weather is and where the storm's going to take off and whatnot, and she's sinning against the Most High, I'm coming for the news. I'm not coming for her. And this is not a movie. I'm not watching the news for entertainment. I'm watching the news for a purpose. This documentary, I'm not watching the documentary for entertainment. Some of them are good if you like history and whatnot, but I'm coming for information to find what's going on. But when you find it rejoicing in iniquity, you're watching these movies and you're watching these cartoons or these TV shows, you're taking the whole thing. We don't rejoice in iniquity, but we rejoice in truth, what verse 6 says. Hopefully that helps you guys out so you could draw your own line, what's appropriate and what's not appropriate. So leave that stuff alone. The saints of the Most High should not be watching stuff with cussing in. Leave that garbage alone. When I got scriptures for these Hebrews, these ultra Hebrews that want to say, well, English isn't our natural language, so if I say the B or the S word or if I say the F bomb, it's not really cuss because Hebrew is our language and English not our language, so it's not me. But first of all, to condemn that argument, when you're on the street trying to win souls, are you speaking Hebrew to these people? What language are you speaking? You're speaking Hebrew, English, correct? Yes, this is correct. So since you're using English to save souls, and in English, the F-bomb, the B out of context, and the S word, and all these words are profanity in English language, which you're using to save souls, then A, you're sinning against the Most High. Because they'll use that language, say, oh, English is an adulterous language, and then quit trying to save souls. And if it's so adultery, and it's such a bad language, and it's not a real language, and it's an Esau language, and all y'all, then stop using it today. Stop using it then. If it's that bad and it doesn't count, then stop using it. Of course you won't, because you want the best of both worlds. You still want to use English to save souls, but then when it comes to profanity, oh, well, this ain't our language. So you just want the best of both worlds. You're a hypocrite. Just say you're a hypocrite. Don't try to beat around the bush and try to get the both of the best worlds and use the English when it's beneficial, but then when it's not beneficial and you need to bridle your tongue, oh, well, it's an adulterous language. Now get out of here. This is how you know when they're living in hypocrisy. Let's keep going. Proverbs chapter 8. Go ahead. What happened? No more. Eat your sandwich. Proverbs chapter 8. All right, no more talking. Proverbs chapter 8. We're going to start at verse 8. Let's get it. And I'm going to run this fast because we do got the news today. Proverbs chapter 8, verse 8. All the words of my mouth are in righteousness, and there is nothing forward or perverse in them. This is a testimony we all need to have. Let's keep going. Verse 13. The fear of the Almighty is to hate evil, pride and arrogancy, and the evil way. And a forward mouth do I hate. We can't be having a forward mouth. We can't be verbally abusive. We can't be jesting. We can't be using profanity. We got to keep this in order. And we need to teach our children that as well. Let's keep going. Let's get the shout outs. Shout outs. Kodesh, Johnny, Ahava, Aisha, Karen, Kamari, Ariel, Nava, Zahara, Zadet. Praise the Almighty. I appreciate you guys. I want you guys to be safe and make it in again. And Karen, because she's on the phone right here. She's not on Facebook. Praise the Almighty. 1 Peter chapter 2. We're going to go faster now. First Peter chapter 2, verse 21. It says, for even hereto we were called, because Amashiach also suffered for us, leaving us an example that we should follow his steps. What was his steps? Who did no sin, neither guile was found in his mouth, or guile also a synonym for deceit. There is no wicked thing coming out of his mouth. Let's keep going. 1 John chapter 1. Or Gospel John. Not 1 John, Gospel John chapter 1. Verse 44. Let's get it. Now Philip was in Bethsaida, the city of Andrew and Peter, and Philip findeth Nathanael and said unto him, we have found him whom Moses in the law and the prophets did write, Yeshua of Nazareth, the son of Joseph. And Nathanael said unto him, can any good thing come out of Nazareth? And Philip said unto him, come and see. Now Yeshua saw Nathanael coming unto him, and guess what he said? And said unto him, behold, an Israelite indeed, in whom is no God. This is why I actually derived True Hebrews United. He comes to him and says, an Israelite indeed, a true Israelite. This is an Israelite indeed, in whom is no guile, no deceit, no defilement, no sin. So then when you come with True Hebrews United, a true Israelite indeed is one that's not committing sin, that willfully sin against the Most High. You know, it says, but and if we sin, we do have an advocate with the Father. You dust yourself off, Almighty forgive me, and you move on. You don't keep saying, God forgive me, Almighty forgive me, or I'm going to keep sinning, but I'm going to keep repenting. No, you dust yourself off and you keep it pushing. You only got to get burnt with fire one time. You realize, hey, this is hot. Maybe I should stop playing with fire because I got burned pretty bad on my hand. I'm going to stop putting my hand in fire. That's how you need to treat sin. You play around, you will get burned because you reap what you sow. You realize that you got burned, and you say, Almighty, forgive me. You don't go back to that sin. So let's keep going. Now, the Almighty said that the true believers will have no God. A true believer, a true Israelite, a true servant of the Most High will have no God. Let's keep going. Give me James chapter 1. And we're going to start at verse 26. James chapter 1, verse 26. If any man among you seem to be religious and bridleth not his tongue. A bridle is what you put on the horse's mouth to steer him. You have the ropes. It's called a bridle. And bridleth not his tongue, he deceiveth his own heart. This man's religion is in vain. That means if you have a profanity problem, you deceive it doing your own self. But I keep the Sabbath, it don't matter, it's in vain. I don't eat pork, it's in vain. I keep the feast day, it's in vain. It says, if any man who seem to be religious and bridleth not his tongue, but deceiveth his own heart, this man's religion is in vain. Think about that. We need to teach our kids that. Please be aware that there is peer pressure, and there is more of their friends pressuring them than people at their schools trying to live holy. For every one child trying to live holy, there's probably 1,000 kids in all these schools that's not living holy. It says many are called and few are saved. Few are chosen. Sorry about that. Give me Matthew chapter 12.
There.
And we're going to start at verse 34. You guys ready? Let's get it. O generations of vipers, how can you, being evil, speak good things? Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. How do you say shalom and we're in truth? And you see some of these camps cussing people out, talking trash about these people. No, you're good. It's just a snack. You got a quesadilla. You're good. Let's further. Oh, good job. So you see plenty of times these camps cussing people out, but they're in truth, yelling at people. You see them all the time. They actually give the people of the Most High a bad name because people are just walking down the street, minding their own business, and they start cussing them out. And even their own people. No one's going to want to repent and hear what you got to say if you don't care about it. If you're quick to insult but not quick to bless, you're quick to insult and curse but not quick to edify, it should be equal. Just as quick as I am to reprove or to rebuke a bad behavior, I should be just as quick to show them the gospel and an opportunity to repent that they might be saved. All right? So, a man out of a good treasure of his heart bringeth forth good things, and the evil man out of the evil treasure of his bringeth forth evil things. But I say unto you that every idle word that a man shall speak, they shall give an account thereof in the day of judgment. By thy words thou shalt be justified, and by thy words thou shalt be condemned. So imagine, we are not even dealing with keeping the Sabbath and not eating pork and keeping the feast days and adultery and murder and theft and fornication and witchcraft and idolatry. Let's just use what comes out of your mouth in the day of judgment. And you're going to get judged by what you say. You're going to get judged by that. And a lot of people that say they believe and that are in truth will just not make it. Because I see all the time, oh, excuse me, or they'll say, man, forgive me, and they'll use profanity. They know, these people know not to use those words, but they do it anyways. It's called cognitive dissonance. It's where they're doing something contrary to their moral compass, and they use an excuse to go along with it. Kind of like when someone knows that they need to lose weight and they exercise and they come home and they eat a big thing of ice cream, and they know they shouldn't be eating it, but they say, well, at least I exercised today. Cognitive dissonance. They know to do the right thing, but it's easier to say, well, this is an adulterous language. Our Hebrew is the real language, so there really is no profanity. No, that's not true. So you're going to tell me the only way someone could use profanity or have a forward mouth is if they speak Hebrew? Is this what we're coming down to? So it's impossible for any person outside of people that speak Hebrew language to have a forward mouth or use profanity or be a talebearer or be a gossiper. No, none of those things can happen outside of the Hebrew language. Is that how low the standard is now? Because you just still want to use cuss words and profanity? This is what I'm saying. Leave these people alone. It doesn't matter how much they dress like the Lord of the Rings on the side of the streets and whatnot. Whatever, man. You know what I'm saying? Leave these people alone. You know what I'm saying? Leave these people alone. Some of these camps are just way out there. They spend more time in their apparel trying to look like they're trying to take the ring to Mordor, you know what I'm saying, than the actual living holy, living righteous. Let's keep going. What's that actually? Happy face. There's a happy face over there. But anyways, so give me 1 Peter, last scripture, 1 Peter chapter 4.
verse?
Peter chapter 4, verse 10. It says, as every man have received a gift, even so much minister the same one to another as good stewards of the manifold grace of the Most High. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracle of the Most High. A oracle, a seer, and a prophet were synonyms. Before they called them prophets, they used the word seer, or they used the word oracle, because they were able to get things from the Most High. And yes, oracle is also used in movies, people that deal with witchcraft and stuff like that too. But they use seer, and they use oracle, and they use prophets. So those are all interchangeable. And so it says, if we speak, let us be as the ambassadors of the Most High. Another scripture says, can we spew out blessing and cursing? Can we speak good things and evil things? It says, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. So my main thing as I wanted to bring this up is because we're dealing with these talks with our children as well. And I'm going to start putting small videos on parenting. Not that I'm freestyle and I'm learning and I'm not the best parent, but I'm going to show you what works for us, what we do and why we do it. And it might give you guys some ideas. As for you guys in your home, hey, treat it like sunflower seeds. Maybe things work. Kids are different. You notice the same sin got different punishments. The punishment for Adam versus the punishment for Eve. They committed the same exact sin, but they had two different punishments. So this may work for one may work for another. And I'll start putting small videos out and show what we do, what works, what doesn't, how we govern our home, and maybe it could give you guys some ideas. But we got to protect our kids. Just like we got to protect them to not get kidnapped, we got to protect them so they don't have no teenage pregnancies and all this stuff. We need to protect our kids, and we need to fortify their minds, because the Almighty told us, he says, I send you amongst wolves. He said, I send you amongst wolves. When they went to see, it says they're going to speak evil against you. They're going to take you to synagogues. They're going to try to kill you and persecute you in every city. It says, I send you amongst wolves. And that's the same thing with our children. When we send our children to school and tool, there's more and more 100% biblical-based schools, and not no St. Vincent Catholic and Latter-day Saint and Seventh-day Adventist garbage schools. When there's more real schools and truth, and we can send our kids there. Until then, if not everyone has the ability on the planet to homeschool their kids. So we can't condemn people that send their kids to public schools. My kids go to a public school. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? But we need to fortify their minds, and they know I'm going here, and do not learn their ways. Do not learn their customs. I come here, the things that are in truth, like math, like reading, writing, and science, and not science possible, so-called, like Big Bang Theory and evolution and all that foolishness. No. We send our kids to school so they learn the things they need to learn, and we spit out the rest. What I do, like one thing I've started, they have Sunday school. Sunday is going to be education. Either going to learn how to cook, tomorrow's going to learn how to change a tire, change a battery. They will have school. There's things like YouTube videos where they learn about boats, they will have more education. Get caught up on their homework, because I have some people not doing their assignments and not telling us, and so we need to call their teachers because they choose not to do their assignments. So we got to tighten the leash down a little bit, you know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, I don't act like we got it all together and our kids are just walking on water. Yeah, kids are kids. Almighty was the best parent to Israel you could possibly be. The best parent ever was the Almighty. And Israel still disobeyed. He gave them a land, houses that they did not build, castles, fortresses, vineyards, farmland that they did not plant or pluck. He gave them a land of milk and honey, and he gave them righteous customs and righteous laws, and they still disobeyed and served idol gods. So you could be the best parent possible, but that does not guarantee that everyone will make it. And the problem lies is when your kid winds up 16, pregnant, or say, oh, I got a kid on the way, and you get mad at the kid. No, a lot of times it's the parent's fault. You can't have you did everything and taught your kids the right way, and then they just rebel, or you let the TV influence them. You let the tablet and the phone, you let the TikTok and the Instagram and the Facebook and all this other stuff, you let their friends at school influence them instead of you being the influence and making sure they know the right way. And yes, they may rebel, but you could say, hey, I did everything possible to show my children the right way, and they chose to go the wrong way. That's the difference between I'm too lazy to be a parent to my kids, so I just shoot them a tablet after school. And on the weekends, because I want to do my own thing, I shoot them a tablet or shoot them the TV or let them play video games where people are cussing because I let my kid play video games live and they're playing games and there's people cussing and all that stuff. And I let society raise my kids instead of me raise my kids. Because what we do is to lower the margin of error. We teach them and give them as much knowledge as possible so they can make the best decisions when they become an adult. But most parents aren't doing that. Even the ones in truth. Put down your phone and quit being on Facebook and raise your kids. Be an influence, a positive influence in your kids. So, with all that said being done, we're going to get to the news. Give the Almighty a hand clap. Keep standing over there. Give the Almighty a hand clap. All right, let's get some news up here. You study, you get it. Oh, okay. I got to give it back to you. There you go. Ready.
Shalom, everybody. Unfortunately, Teacher Simon has forgotten how to give the news, so I have to do it now. So I want to initially bring up the situation in Haiti. I know I've spoke about it before, that I have to listen to a lot of people talking about it on Facebook. So I just kind of want to bring more light to some of the stuff that's happening in Haiti. Well, not necessarily what's happening in Haiti, but what's happening to Haitians on the U.S. side. So within the last year, 7,000 Haitians by sea and 25,000 Haitians by land have been repatriated back to Haiti. Over 87 nationalities have been seeking asylum here in the U.S. I always say here, but I'm not in the U.S. So have been seeking asylum in the U.S. And out of all the people who seek asylum, Haiti comes in dead last, or Haitians come in dead last as being approved to get asylum in the U.S., which is crazy if you know of any of the things. I mean, even looking back at the earthquake that they had back in the day, you know, and the failing infrastructure, and the fact that the U.S. is in there now, and, you know, it's like, then last year, over 1,000 people have died already from all the fighting that's going on, the internal fighting that's going on in Haiti. So Trump has spoken, and we saw the same rhetoric and verbiage being said when the Ukrainians started to flee, which was now that Ukrainians are asylum seekers, and now that Ukrainians are fleeing, they're looking for other places to reside. These countries have been. Sorry, I have baby ears, so.
I heard it.
Okay, so the baby is crying. So you have to go get him.
Yeah.
I thought I heard the baby crying, so until I hear him crying, he's not crying. So when these Ukrainians are going to these countries and saying, "Hey, we need somewhere to reside because it's a war in Ukraine," all these countries open their arms wide and they accept these people in without hesitation, except for the black people who are trying to free Ukraine. The black people who were trying to flee Ukraine were getting sent back, and we're being stopped by the Ukrainian. Oh, go sit down. But they're accepting of people who are blonde hair and blue eyed, but they're not accepting people who are melanated or more melanated, you know, no matter where they come from. So, you know, Trump was saying things like that, but Joe Biden has proved that what Trump said is what the U.S. believes, or what the U.S. is pushing. So on August 26 and 22, Biden ended the Trump-era migrant protection program called Stay in Mexico. This is where, if you remember, the caravans came up from all the South American and Central American countries and tried to come into the U.S. And they stopped them at the border of Mexico and made them stay on the Mexican side. So the federal law judge said that Joe Biden could end that, which he did. And so then this opened up for more than 70,000 asylum seekers to freely enter the U.S. And most of these were people that came from those South American countries or Central American countries to freely enter the U.S. and wait for their court case. And it's been proven that if people who are in the U.S., while they're in for their court cases, they're 50% more likely to end up with protection and be able to stay in the U.S. as opposed to being extradited or whatever. So these people flooded in. Like at first they were making them quarantine and they were making them do all this stuff. Now literally these people can just walk in and they don't keep track where they are. They're not showing up to the court dates. There's like literally no information on where these people are and where they've gone to once they enter the U.S. country. But again, that's mostly these Central American and South American countries, and they're letting them in. But then when the Haitians are coming in here, they're shutting the doors because, of course, we want asylum seekers from great countries with blonde hair and blue eyes. We don't want these other people. So if people are allowed in, if this law has ended, Trump era law has ended, then why is it that on Friday 190 Haitians who came in by boat, which they say if you come in by boat you're less likely to get in, but if 190 Haitians came in by boat, why are they all being sent back? And 50 of the people who were on that boat were children, ranging from infants, teens, and most of those were probably unaccompanied children. And we see that no matter what situation it is that we find ourselves in, when you are this color, you always get the lower end of the stick. So we know that there's a humanitarian crisis in Haiti. The world acknowledges that there's a humanitarian crisis in Haiti, yet nobody is making provisions for these Haitians to be able to get asylum. And don't forget that we have all the Haitians that came up with the caravan as well, and they were beating them with whips and everything like that and sending them back. And most of those people did not get in. I think 25,000 people were there, and most of those did not get in.
And they invaded them too. They just invaded them.
Yeah, in Haiti. So moving on past that, China is reporting record high COVID cases. China has a zero COVID policy, which the world is like, if you have a zero COVID policy, shouldn't something be working by now? And they're in almost total lockdown again because of all the COVID cases. 4 people have died in a week, and their cases are their cases right now is as high as they were in the beginning of this year. In other news, one of the biggest international health crises that we're facing is obesity and overweight. Experts speculate that by 2030, that 50% of the world will be obese or overweight, which is bad for Western countries because we know that most of these countries that are impoverished, or these nations that are impoverished, they're not adding to this 50%. So that's mostly Western people, America, making up this total number that they're speculating. So with those numbers being so high, and we know most of those are going to be Westerners, Americans, because America probably has the worst food as far as quality on the planet. We as an Americans will probably make the most of that number. And are you going to be part of that number? So make sure that everybody's doing their part to be healthy. As Simon said, we're making our kids eat more fruits. They eat fruits and vegetables. I don't want to be like my kids don't eat fruits and vegetables, but we are making them eat more fruits and vegetables and getting less servings or less carbs and less. I don't let them have candy really. I can't speak for everybody else.
Me either.
So they get more candy when their father is around than they do any other time. So, just make sure you're doing your part, especially with persecution coming. You want to be in the best health that you possibly can to increase your likelihood of survival.
All right, discourage Hebrew people or minorities. Don't join their service. Don't fight their wars. America is just as racist as it's always been. They just changed how they go about it. The best way to act like you're not racist is to act like you're not racist. The best way to treat people is to act like you're not racist. With something else you said, you already know they're taking Haitian oil. So that revolutionary, they stopped the blockade because they invaded Haiti. Marines came and invaded Haiti. They keep taking their resources. They don't take the people. So, I could care less about that one. The saints of the Most High, there's no reason any saint of the Most High should be obese. I'm serious. Because your body is the Almighty's temple, and you reap what you sow. You get high blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes. Some diabetes might be a hereditary and whatnot. But you guys, a lot of the saints of the Most High be eating like trash. And then you think, oh, my body's the temple. Well, act like it. If your body's the temple, act like it. Hey, get yourself, if you know you're overweight, go exercise twice a week. Don't be lazy. The Almighty doesn't like slothful. If you have to lose 30, 40, 50 pounds, then lose what you need to lose so you're not obese. Do what you need to do. There's no reason. Sometimes some parents are single parent mothers. You don't have time. I get it. Hopefully the Almighty will make time. But there's no reason any person that believes in this Bible should be obese. You know what you need to do. You're his temple, and you're not glorifying the Almighty eating like trash, and just because you're reading, you pray, and you fast. No. Don't think. It says walk circumspectly, meaning have all areas covered. No weak links. So with all that said being done, keep standing, don't drop standards, give the Almighty hand clap against the Lord. How you turn it off again? Where's it at? I have to exit full stream first. All right, then end broadcast.
Bye.